You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Welcome to Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with, is it Lovell Lopez?
Lovell Lopez, you got it right, man.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Lovell.
Professionally, daily, I'm a physical therapist assistant. Um, at my free time, I do personal training. I coach kids on for basketball, and I do my own podcast.
So how did you dive into physical therapy?
Actually, I went to school, you know, originally for accounting. I did accounting. I did that for a couple years, and nothing against anybody that does accounting, but man, I caught myself about 4 years into the job, like just saying, "Jesus, this it?" Like I was in this room by myself, and it's a lonely job with numbers, and that's cool. It's all good, and I appreciate it because it helps me in my daily living and finances and stuff. But anyways, I went through a couple surgeries myself, and while I was working, doing payroll and books for another company, this physical therapist, she came in and she knew the lady I worked for, which is actually my mother. I was doing her payroll, and she asked if she could borrow me to help with some computer work and payroll and stuff like that. So it came out to be that I was just helping open a clinic, and about 2 years into opening it, I said, you know what? Maybe I'll go back to school for physical therapy to become an assistant. And here I am, man. I'm 14 years in the game.
What types of people have you dealt with physical therapy? Like, can you give me I'm guessing a range of people, but has there been any certain experiences or stuff that you've had that where it really kind of changed you a little bit?
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Like, let me see. We get all range, and it's funny because it just seems as time goes on, it seems like the crowd, because back like before, you would think physical therapy and it was like like old people. Nothing against old people, but it's just automatic. You think like arthritis and old people and stuff like that. um but it's, man, through the years, like I think just now our generation is like, we're into sports like at 5 years old. We're doing, whatever, football, jujitsu, whatever it is, at such a young age. That, dude, we're getting like people in like 15, 16, 17, even younger than that. I think the youngest patient I've had was like 8 years old, had a knee surgery, and it's crazy. But all ranges, man. I got patients from 8 years old to like 95 years old, and it's cool. Everybody has a story. You get to really connect with people. You get to build a real relationship, and I tell you, the hardest part, I think, is the mentality of it. Because I mean, anybody that gets hurt is is usually not the person sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah,
It's the
and
person, right, right.
the fear you get when you get hurt and then trying to build back from it is difficult because you don't know if
It,
you're ever going to be as good as you once were. My buddy was in a car accident where he was drinking and driving, and now he goes to schools and talks to people about the dangers of that, like warns kids. And he was on my podcast, and I remember him from school one way, and then I see him after this accident, and he's got a scar on his head, and he's
yeah,
completely changed, and his whole mindset's changed back from when I knew him as this guy that was like, oh, drinking, yeah, and doing that.
yeah,
Now he's completely different. But like
yeah.
him saying that he couldn't even, like, his foot got ripped off, and like him trying to walk and learn how to walk after that. Like I come from a fitness background only because
Hmm.
like I'm addicted to going to the gym, and
Good.
it's I see it like physical therapy, and I have a real fascination with the human mind only
Hmm.
because I think a lot of people, when they look at something like physically limiting, they think of it as the worst possible scenario. And I think it is pretty bad, but also like mental, like hurt, mental therapy, those types of things that
Hmm.
we all experience trauma in it every single
Oh
day.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
definitely.
whether, like you were saying, like how you didn't feel like the accounting job was for you, only because you're not that guy that can sit in an office environment. And sadly,
That's
a
right.
lot of people are going to choose that office environment because it gives them a comfortable paycheck in their pocket. They don't want to, they don't want an excuse to change anything in fear that they might either find something great, but they don't want to take that shot because they're afraid they're going to miss and they're afraid they're going to be broke and poor on the side of the street, which really scares me because that's where we chalk up a lot of our mental health today, at least, because a lot of people are just, they're fine with their
definitely, man.
lifestyle. Like,
we hold back.
yeah, you can't hold back in life, dude. You got to go and take every single shot. You're going to miss every single shot you don't take.
Yep.
I'm like, I'd rather fail than freaking live a life saying I made it through life. I don't want to make it through life.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to fail, man. There's a saying that says, the only thing worse than death is a casket full of regret.
Damn.
and I don't want to regret a damn thing, man. Like whether whatever it is, I attack it and I do it. And if I fail, hey, man, it's a learning process, and I'll keep going until the point I say, hey, you know what, this isn't for me. This is it, and let's go tack something else.
Do you find it hard not to physically, or not physically, but emotionally connect with your clients that come in there, whether you're experiencing a kid that's 8 years old? Like you said, sports are becoming a kind of a thing in older kids, but you're seeing where it's getting ridiculous. A lot of people are taking supplements. A lot of people are taking things to extend their power. Everyone's kind of looking for an upper hand on somebody. Like, my one buddy plays football, and he is in the college level, and he's just using head-to-head contact on everybody because he knows he can level them out. But I'm like, dude, you're literally fucking up so many people that go out onto the field against you.
It's gonna catch up, though. It'll catch up. Like one day that shit just hits you like a brick.
Yeah, like I tell him, I'm like, dude, I think you're getting slower. And he's like, shut up. Like, he thinks I'm like joking around with him. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, I'll ask you a question, and sometimes he'll have to think a lot longer on something he can just used to be able to like quick fire off. And I'm like, dude, like, you don't think that's hurting your head, hitting somebody like that? Like, your brain's kind of in a car with no seatbelt. It's just ramming.
He's in college, dude. I mean, that's young. He's in college. I mean,
well,
he's
you're
still got
seeing that,
plenty of life.
You know that whole thing, CTE and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's nuts, dude. The fact that people are like their mental age is now aged like 30 years above their body, and people are starting to experience like Alzheimer's and these types of shit. Like,
that's crazy, man.
They think of the body as like something like, when you're my age, you're 20 something, you think you're indestructible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. You don't have fear and physicality. You go and what was it? I was talking to somebody about it. It's like, as we get older, we develop this conscience, and this also has to go with, like we were talking about, being afraid to take a chance, or not being afraid to fail, and us stopping us from reaching better potentials throughout our life. And it's like, we're just animals, but if you look like let's compare ourselves to like a chicken, right? If a chicken crosses the road and gets hit, the chicken right behind them doesn't go, damn, that chicken just got hit, I shouldn't cross the road. No, that chicken's gonna keep crossing the road, and he's probably gonna get hit too, right? For us, we look at that and we're like, oh, we already judge ourselves from other people. So the second somebody like fails, we're like, oh man, that's hard. I don't know if I could do that. So that's it.
I think the main thing is people give up only because it's the easiest thing to do.
It's the easiest thing to do.
Nobody ever, I mean, how many times do you experience a person not getting something and then saying, that's it, I'm just not going to fucking do it anymore? I'm like,
you're
missing out. You're truly limiting yourself when you do that. My one buddy, he was explaining to me how hard it was for him to stand up, how hard it is for him to walk, how hard it is for him to do these types of things. Now I see him walking around just fine. He's totally, he probably goes through a massive amount of emotional stuff that I don't get to see. But like talking to him, I'm like, relate to me, bro. How hard is it? Like me, I have a little bit of mental health issues when it comes to the way I look. Like, I do have a six pack, but I was bullied really bad to the point where I had to go to the gym so much. I had to earn it that way. I had to go. I mean, I've been going every day for 7 years. I have not missed a day. And like, I tell him, I'm like, how hard is it for you to look in the mirror and see your body change completely forever, having a scar on the side of your head, doing these types of things? He's like, dude, He goes, it fucking hurts every time I put on my shirt in the morning. Not because I see the scars on my body and know what I did to myself, but at the same time, I lost somebody in it, and it was my fault. And I hear
The
that,
constant reminder.
I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, how do you just wake up in the morning and go out there and do that? Like, just live. And he's like, dude,
Man.
that reminder's there, and I can use it to keep me in my bed, or I can use it as my benefit to get me out into the world and warn people about the dangers of this thing. I'm like, fucking hats off to you, man, because I know so many people that would just take the excuse to run that rope out. I mean, my other buddy's dad, he got in a severe like road accident, like where he was lit on fire, and he had to learn how to walk. So I never knew this, and I was like, why is he walking like a zombie through the house? Like he'll walk with like his arms like completely out, like he's Iron Man trying to balance himself. And my one buddy's like, dude, he was in a giant road accident fire. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, he had to relearn how to walk and shit. I was like, damn. And I think a lot of people see that, like, exactly the fact that like you got to be old to experience physical therapy. No. I can tell you right now, going to the gym every single day, right now at my age of 21, I get up, I feel like I'm 90 years old. Like I feel my hip pops out of place, my knee pops out of place. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. It catches up, man. It catches up. It's a big everything is though, man. Like, you know, I attest when I get with these patients and I work with them, man. I'll tell you what, because I've seen it so much, to be honest with you, surgery's easy and the therapy is hard because you got to push yourself. The hardest thing, hardest thing, and this goes just for life, but when you got something that knocks you down, literally knocks you down, like you break a leg or you know, whatever it is, um, it's a mental game, man. It is the biggest mental game. And the biggest way I think I can relate to my patients is I've been on that side. You know, I've had 3 knee surgeries, 2 on one and 1 on the other, and they were all for like freak accidents. One, I landed on a ball and I folded my leg. The other one, my some guy landed on my leg and folded it back. And so it's like, you know, like that wasn't supposed to happen. It's not like I jumped, you know, and then I landed wrong, or, you know, like it was like, man, I would have been fine if those weird accidents wouldn't have happened. And that's something you got to just accept, and you got to learn to be like, all right, whatever, this is rock bottom. I can only go up from here. But that's such a hard concept to grasp while you're going through it, because, you know, in your head, you're going from, I do this every day. I wake up, I go to the gym, I eat, I go run over here. I got to pick this up. I get to saying, all right, I got to massage this leg. I got to put this leg up. I got to sit down. I got to rest. And that's it. And you're doing that for the next 3 to 4 months. And what people don't understand is you tell them, I get this question all the time is, so how long, and this will be right after surgery. You have surgery, and usually it's like you'll see the physical therapist about a week or 2 after. And they always ask, so hey man, how long would it be until like I'm back to normal? I see everybody looks for normal. And I'll tell them straight up. I'll say 4 to 6 months, or maybe 3 to 4 months. You know, whatever the case may be. And I can already see it in their face, their face. They give up. And I'm like, no, but don't worry. Like, what people, they hear that, and they don't hear the 3 to 4 months, and they don't hear the 4 to 6 months. They hear 6 months. That's all they heard was the last thing.
They hear how long it's going to take, so they don't
hear. That's it. They don't hear the possibility of it just being sooner. On top of that, I didn't say you're going to be crippled the way you are right now until 6 months and boom, all of a sudden you're normal. No, through that whole process, literally every day you walk into my clinic, you're going to get better. Every day you do that home exercise program, you're going to get better. So within 2 months, maybe less, you'll be up and walking and doing what you got to do. But you're going to be, but that's not what they see in their head. What they see in their head is like, damn, I'm crippled for the next 6 months. That's the first thing.
I think people want immediate results, and they have to understand that nothing is ever immediate, except stuff that causes damage. You know, that stuff is immediate.
Yeah.
But when it comes to recovering, it's about building up yourself again. Like, your podcast seems to focus a lot on a little bit of mental health, like people that
it
kind
is,
of
man.
down.
It is. It's, you know what? I really go back to that a lot because it is, man. I really, really believe in it. Last year, the reason the podcast started, and it's not mainly because of like the job I'm in, but something happened to me last year that kind of almost like ruined my marriage and my family. And it had nothing to do with them. And it was all me. And I went through a depression. And this is crazy because I haven't even opened up to this on my own podcast because I just haven't felt like, all right, this is the time. But you know, I'm open here, so let's do it. but but I went through this depression or whatever, and I won't get too much into detail, but it was hurting my family, and it was the way I was responding to everything. I went to work, and it's crazy because I got a great job, I work with great people, and I was upset that I was tired of my work, and then I come home and I bring it home, and I was, just tired of being home, tired of being where I'm at. Like I was being ungrateful, and it's crazy because people go through depression, right?
Yeah.
But it's usually all right. You hurt your knee. All right, so you got a little depression. You gotta figure it out, and then you do. A family member dies. It's a hard time. All right, give yourself that time, get through it, and you're back. But this time was different. Nothing happened. I don't even know how long I was depressed for, and it just snuck up on me. And what I
You got put
believe,
in autopilot, dude.
yeah, I did, and all it was, I kept digging into this rabbit hole, and like every day it just got worse. Like, oh, I come home, I see my wife and we kind of just hug like roommates. Like it's hard. It was crazy. I can tell like I was being fake to my son. Like I was just being happy in front of him, and then
Dude,
sending him on his way to do things. Dude, and it was
dude,
like
let me
it's
tell you something.
crazy.
I've podcasted with so many people from different parts of the country, from all over the world, basically. And let me tell you something. They all come down to the same talk about society and how people are now two-faced. And what I
Hmm.
mean by two-faced is they're going to be, hey, how you doing? But they don't truly care how you're doing. They're only
No.
out for themselves anymore. And the sad thing is people are becoming comfortable with just living the life they're living. They're not
Yeah.
doing anything to change anymore. Nobody's really being an innovator anymore because anytime they
No.
have the inspiration to go do something, they think someone else is going to do it.
Yeah. Just do it. Take initiative. Just do it. And if you fail, so what? So what the hell? What happened? What happens? You
Oh,
didn't do it before.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
You didn't
failed.
take
Okay.
initiative.
Did anybody get hurt? No. All right then. There you go. Well, that's it. There you
Keep it
go.
moving. Keep it moving.
Yeah, it just didn't happen. You could do it again. You could try again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you miss a basketball shot. You're not just gonna
Mm-hmm.
not play basketball anymore unless you're like some like Jordan character. But
Yeah.
you're gonna take another shot. So it's like just wait for that shot to come up again. I tell
Yep.
people like you can be miserable in a comfortable job for the rest of your life. Is
Mm-hmm.
that what you want? Okay, then good for you. But let me tell you
Yeah.
something. You can be so passionate and so happy when you're building fucking IKEA furniture, which to me, I use that
Yeah.
example because that is the hardest thing in the
Yeah.
freaking world. They never give me the screws I need. They never give
There's
me anything. I have always extra pieces left over. The one shelf I built
uh,
fell 5 minutes later. And I'm like, but
uh,
I know someone that likes building that shit, but he
yeah.
sucks at it. Like, what were you trying to build? He's like, it's a seahorse. I'm like, that's a fucking spoon. He's like, what? And I'm like, how did you get that? Like the directions are right here. He's like, who looks at directions anymore? I'm like, true.
But not only that, like there's no words on there. It's only pictures.
And if there is words on there, it's in another language you don't understand.
Right.
Like, where's the English version of this? And it's like, oh, you
Uh,
had to order the Japanese model. It's like, well, shit. And I'm sitting there like, I try and like joke around and tell him like, like you're not good at this. Why don't you just try and do something you're good at? He's like, because I love doing this. I'm like, that's what it is. That's what life is. Life
that's
is
what it
finding
is.
something you want to enjoy, even if you suck at it. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it can create peace and happiness into your mind, then do
That's
it.
it.
You will
That's
get
life.
better at it the more you do it. But if you you don't even try it, you're never going to get
Mhm.
good at it.
That's life, man. That's it. That's it. You just gotta find it. It's just, a lot of people look for that instant gratification too.
Yeah, I think just too many people think it's going to land right in their lap.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at like for example, look at your fitness journey. There's no other like probably perfect example of of you have to put in the work. I
Yeah.
don't like even if somebody took steroids, you still gotta walk into that gym. You still gotta push that weight. You still gotta put in work.
Yo, I've seen people that use steroids at my gym, and let me tell you something, it is the weirdest fucking thing. At 3 years in, I contemplated using steroids.
Yeah.
But I was like, that is going to cause such severe mental handicap later in my life if I use steroids now, because then you get
Yep.
so ripped, and then if you stop using it, you immediately
Yeah.
see it go away usually.
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen that take a toll on people because
Oh yeah.
I'm obsessed with mental health. I think as
Yeah.
much as physical health is important, mental health is very
Which
important.
is really good, man. Really good. You being 21 years old, man, that's a great thing because it's a big thing in society, dude. Like just your mental health is such a big thing, man. It's really impacting the world right now.
I'm one of the very few 21-year-olds that you'll probably ever talk to that doesn't drink. I haven't bought a legal drink, and that's only because I had really bad family experience when I was very little with alcohol.
Yeah.
Someone being in my family being an alcoholic, and my whole family kind of smokes pot, does whatever, but it's that just wasn't for me. I found that
Yeah.
I tried it. I did it for a little bit. It wasn't my
Hmm.
click. Everyone
Yeah.
has something, and I believe everything's okay in a certain amount. Don't over consume it, obviously.
Right.
But like I went to school for chemical dependency because kids at my school were dropping dead of opioids in my area.
Oh my God,
And
that's crazy.
I was losing friends. I actually one of my best friends, he lost his brother. And hearing that, I was like, shit. I was like, there's something going on here, and I feel like I might have the a hand of dealing with this. So I went to school for chemical dependency. Then I ended up wanting to go into social work, trying to help kids that went through bullying like I went through.
Hmm.
But just like you're saying, physical fitness. If I take a week off or I eat like shit for 3 days, my
Yeah.
body is not the same. It is not
It's
at
not the
its peak
same.
performance anymore. There are times I
Nope.
eat red meat and I won't shit for 6 days because
Yeah.
I haven't had it in forever. I'll
Right.
eat fish all the time, and I tell people like, look, I go 2 to 3 hours a day every single day for 7 years now. It gets fucking old, but
Yeah.
I try and change it up to make it new and fun.
Hmm.
I think that's what you have to do with life. You get
You do.
comfortable and set in a way where Netflix is your favorite thing to do when you get home. You
Yeah.
have a planned routine. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. I did that for 3 years. It was work, school, gym, work, school, gym, work, school,
Mhm.
gym. No social life, no going out to
Yeah.
bars. I missed out completely because I have found a fascination with talking to people. And that's only because it's just everyone, we all think the same. We're all so unique in our own
Yeah.
amazing ways, but we all have a story to tell.
Everyone has a story to tell, man.
So what do you try and focus on with your podcast? Because like you deal with physical fitness during the day,
Hmm.
but then you do this mental thing kind of at night. It seems like your podcast focus like strictly like on mental and knowing that you can achieve your shit.
Yeah, I think I really do think it's possible, man. I really do. And it's not just that, man. Like, I got this belief in my head, and this might sound far-fetched, but this is for real. This is a real mentality that I have. Actually, I just turned 38 Wednesday. It was my birthday. And and this is crazy to think, but it might be crazy to other people, but I want to be rich. And I
Don't
say
we
that,
all?
see, that's the exact answer I get from everybody. I want to be rich, like crazy rich with money, with money. And why do I say that? Is because I don't want it. I don't want the money. I want to just be able to be like, let's build a school here, and I will pay for it. Like I want to give it away.
You want that
I
Mark
really
Rubio
do.
money. You want that Mark Rubio
Yes.
money. You
Yes.
see that video where they were like, you said the F word. Did you know they're gonna fine you $500,000? He's like, what? What? No, it wasn't 500,000. It was like five. I think it was five. No, I was gonna say it's like 1,000,000. It was something ridiculous. And he was like,
Yeah.
what? And they're like, yeah, you said the F word. He goes, so you go, what do you think about that? And he goes, fuck it. And then it's like another 1,000,000. Like, I was like, no way. That's that Mark Rubio money. That's that money. Like, I got planes in different sections. Like, I got, when I ride a plane, I don't fly private. I fly public, but I buy every single seat. Like
Yeah.
that's cool though, because I
Yeah.
think a lot of people look at wanting to be rich and famous and pop, all this type of shit, like have all the women, have all these types of things,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they don't want to put in the work to get it. And then, but
No.
like for me, I want to be rich, but I don't want to be rich with money. I want to be rich
Yeah.
with stories. I want to be rich with
Yeah.
experience. Every time I do a
Yeah.
podcast, every time I talk to someone, they don't they don't understand the I guess the takeaway for me. I hear
Yeah.
somebody like you, you're from Florida. I'm I'm from East Coast too, but I'm in like
Yeah.
so many states away from you. But having the
Yeah.
same mindset as you, being able to have
Yeah.
a conversation with you, being able to hear your thoughts and hear your opinions, and maybe
Yeah.
understanding something I don't understand for myself. And
It's a beautiful thing, man.
it's something like I believe knowledge is an experience, and whether you have to
Hmm.
learn that from somebody else or you have to learn it on your own, a lot of people like I there's two quotes if you're going to watch any movie that you can literally pull out and take a lot from. One quote is from Bruce Lee, where he talks about,
Mm.
God gave you this life because you're tough enough to walk it. Like nobody
Hmm.
else that was set in your life could be able to do it. That is
That's
very
it.
true. Also, second one, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky Balboa. It's not about how hard you get hit, but how hard you get hit and then keep moving forward.
Yeah.
That
Yep.
shit, if people live their life by that, they would have something. And I try to tell
Yeah.
people, like, look, it's not a
Yeah.
motivational speech. I'm not trying to get you like, this is
You
it.
really have to believe it, though.
But
You really have to
you
think of
have
that.
to make that change for yourself. Like
Yeah.
if you want to change and be a better person, you have to do that yourself. And you're not going to get anywhere by just getting pissed off at the grocery store because someone in front of you has 58 items
Yeah.
in the freaking 12 item or less aisle. You have to let them know, like, hey, like, you're doing something wrong. You know it. You don't have to correct them on it. Just
Yeah.
take your time, take your paces
Yeah.
through life. Like, what
Yeah.
steps do you want to work towards to kind of being a better person, or just changing your life in the way you want it to live? Or do you feel like you're already doing it?
I a lot of people. I'm not gonna say a lot of people. I'm not like this famous person or anything, but I do get these DMs where like even from friends, and it's funny because like you go. I have a personal page, and I got my my podcast page, and I get messages from friends and stuff. They ask me questions, and it's nice because I feel like I like to feel like people can come to me and I can just say my part. You take what you think is right, and whatever is wrong, just give it back. That's it. Like I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but this is my point of view. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like let's just have this conversation. Here's my point of view because I'm from the outside looking in, and I have this for myself. I believe that like you said, mental health is very, very important, and I want that to adapt into everybody else, because I've been through the physical part of it, and it sucked, and it addressed my mental health, and recently it addressed my mental health as an adult because we're all going to go through that. Once you get to a certain age, you're going to be like something hits, and you're just like, for some reason, I don't think even matters where you're at. You just feel like, man, I should have been better by now. And I'm good. Like I'm good. I have a good job. I have a wonderful family. I'm in a good place. Like but people, like don't see what I did to get there. And the thing is, when I was saying people DM me, they think I have it all figured out. They think I was like, man, look at Val. Yeah, beautiful family. Look at this. They're always happy. But nobody puts a picture up of them and their family arguing.
Yeah,
Nobody
you don't
put
do the
right,
real
right,
moments. Like everyone experiences bad shit, even though like
right.
I'm pretty sure whatever Johnny Depp probably gets shit all the time. I mean, he just had that thing. His wife divorced him and like split up half
Yeah,
of his money because he didn't have a prenup. And it's like
yeah,
people, even celebrities, go through shit, guys. Like
yeah,
TMZ's just
yeah,
that certain little bastard out there that goes and finds it for you. But like,
yeah,
you know, e- everyone wants to display kind of, this thing like, oh, this is me, I'm this, I got
yeah,
this, I got that, got this, got that. And you think their life isn't crap when they might be going through a whole toll of mental
yeah,
health as well.
yeah,
So
yeah,
what type of thing, because usually it's something like very, very heavily experienced in their life, like whether it was a death, whether it was like just severe depression, what made you get to this point where you start thinking like this? Because for me,
well,
it
that
was having a
Go ahead.
hard childhood a little bit, but also just understanding like being alone and isolated from just people in general. Like I just felt like my voice wasn't matter. And then I just found out like it's special. So what was yours?
I think my turnaround was that you know, I cause see I don't know what put me into the depression. And I have an idea now. I had a friend that was going through a hard depression. He deals with real like depression. Like seriously, like medicated and stuff. And so he would tell me, he would talk to me, and I help him out. And it's funny because even when you're down and out, you can give advice. You know what to do. You really do. There's no secret to it. Hey man, turn around. Like turn this around. And it's easy to tell somebody. And then on top of that, then I had, on top of that, I got my patients. And I had a patient that she would talk very depressed about everything. Um, and then I had another family member that would talk. And I think what it was is that I think this is just me trying to find where it started. I think it came from so many people at once. It was all around the same time coming to me for their issues. And somehow in my head, I was like, you know what? Me too. And I don't like that either. And somehow it kind of turned on me. I give a lot of credit to like psychologists and therapists in the mental health because dude, you gotta listen to people's like real problems and walk out of there with a
Dude,
steady head. Like
I can relate to that so bad. I went to school for psychology, and let me tell you something. I'm no way a psychologist, but we used to get these projects and stuff. You get a new discussion basically every week, and it was a mental health video, and you had to watch it for 45 minutes, and then you
mhm,
had to answer questions that you saw in the video, and then write a response to it, like 3-page response. Dude,
mhm.
watching that at 5 o'clock in the morning when I was getting up to eat breakfast, and let me tell you something. I would go right back to bed afterwards after I watched it and did my work. And like I had family go like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Don't talk to me for the rest of the fucking day." And they're like, "Why?"
It's
I'm
exhausting.
like, "I can't." And
Yeah,
it's people don't understand like what they sign up for when they do that. Like my best friend's mom is a psychologist, and she's probably one of the rarest, like truest ones out there, because she'll tell you after like a session or two if she feels like she can't help you. She's like, "I'll give you your money back. Like I want you to help you find somebody that is actually going to help you in the way you want to be helped, because I'm here to make changes for you, but you just you look like you're sitting here just want to bitch about your problems, and
yeah,
that's not helping anybody, and I would just be taking your money at this point, and I don't feel like that's beneficial to anybody."
yeah, yeah.
And
There's some people that just want to complain.
but I feel like that's everyone, only
Yeah,
because we have no one to talk to anymore. How
yeah,
many
because
times do you go to a store, or do you go and talk to someone and they just start bitching about their day, what everything
yeah,
going on in their life? And I
yep,
chalk it up to they're full. People are becoming full nowadays. And the fact
mhm,
is, we don't have another way to express it. Family
mhm.
dinners don't happen that much anymore.
No,
I think the average like family that actually has family dinners, it's about two of the nights they have an actual family dinner where
yeah,
they plan it out. I'm like, it
yeah.
used to be just something you did.
Yeah, it was like tradition. Like it just happened. It was like what that's just what happens in the household.
But we're being disconnected from each other's lives now with technology,
Mm.
our
Yeah,
phones. Snapchat's the easiest way to hang out with your friends nowadays. I'm like,
yeah,
no, like we need to plan a night. Like we used to have family game night. That doesn't.
yeah,
That's never gonna happen, I think, anymore, unless you're
yeah.
in a family where they still play board games. But
We still play board games.
like
That's just
shit, dude.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll say like the feeling you get when you play Monopoly and you make your
Uh,
mom or your dad go bankrupt, you feel
yeah,
like an asshole, but it feels good. It feels good.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're sitting there like, hey, remember when I wanted that video game from the store? Well, you're out of money and you have a couple properties. Give me the land, motherfucker. And it's like they look at you like, I'm the adult here, right? Like I'll send you to your room and ground you. And I watched my little cousin bankrupt me and them, like his parents. I'm like, holy shit! Like he just did that. And like, yeah, like he has all the power in a board game, but I have the power in real life. I can make him go to bed right now. And I'm like, do it. And I'm like, but it's those moments, like you're playing Uno, you're playing these types of things. They're memories, man. You're creating
Yeah.
them. I'd rather all my memories be with my family and doing things with them, like people that aren't going to be in my lives forever, than just experiencing my phone. Like, how many
Yeah.
kids nowadays are just going to remember things they did on their phone?
Yeah, it's because a lot of people don't look at these moments either until it's too late. Like if what makes life is death. That sounds like an oxymoron. But if you were to think, like literally, if you were to think you have 20 minutes to live, like this moment between me and you would be so much worth, like be worth so much more
Yeah, we'd be
because
spouting off shit
because
about Bigfoot and shit.
yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
down.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's like this is it. Like this is my last conversation with somebody I just met.
Would you
This is like there's a bigger price to it if death is around the corner.
Well, you hold it more near and dear because this is how you're
Exactly.
spending your last moments. I
Exactly.
I think the crazy thing is a lot of people feel like that if they live a comfortable lifestyle and they live to the age of 90, they're going to be happy with it. And let me tell
Yeah.
you, I think a life short and filled with happiness is doing stuff you want to do, whether it's dangerous
Hmm.
or not. I mean, you can die in your house. Your house can
Yeah.
collapse on you, but people
Yeah.
think that they're safe. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you can experience it at any point. And I want to ask
Any
you,
point.
if I wrote down the day you were going to die, would you want to look at it or would you keep it to mystery?
Honestly, I would keep it a mystery. I don't want to know.
Yeah, I feel like once you know your ending date, like, you're just gonna be aware of it. Like, oh my god, it's gonna be happening then. It's gonna happen then.
You know, I
It's
I
gonna.
think I'd be I think I'd be I think it I think it'd affect me in a way I would hate, and it would ruin me. I think it would make me feel fake because now I'm gonna visit so and so because I'm gonna die. Now I want to go over here because I'm gonna die. Not, no, man.
Yeah,
It should be like that all the time. It should be like, all right, take this moment, be with your kids. Take this moment, be with your wife. Like just take the moment, live right now, live in this moment right now.
I chalk it up to two examples. Do you want the smart example or do you want the dumb example?
Give me both. Give me both. Give me the smart one first. I want to finish good.
Okay, so the smart example is like if you use that example and say like, hey, like if I wrote down the expiration date when you're gonna die, and then would you look at it or wouldn't you look at it? The fact is, you wouldn't look at it because you want to feel like you have the grasp on life. If I
Hmm.
told you that when you were going to die, it'd be like the Victorian era where the doctors would literally tell you the day they're coming to your house to do surgery on you.
Yeah.
And the sad part
Yeah.
is they're chopping off your foot, and most of the time it was a death sentence. So that's
Yeah.
the smart example, using the Victorian age of medical innovation as a reference.
Hmm.
Now I'm going to give you the dumb example that I learned off TV. The dumb example is Family Guy when Brian says, "I'm going to get you back, Stewie." And he's like, I'm not going to tell you when, but I'm going to do it. And then he's like fearing the whole time. Every time he's around him, are you going to do it now? Are you going to do it? He's intentionally hurting himself. Then at the ending of
Yeah.
the show, he pushes him out in front of a bus. That was the
Yeah.
dumbest. But that's what it is. Like, when you
Yeah.
know when you're going to die, how you're going to die, you're not going to want to look at it. My cousin's adopted. He did. If I told him, like, if I wrote down who your real parents were and everything like this, would you want to look at it? He goes, no, because my parents are my real parents. You know,
Yeah.
I have that
Yeah.
fascination to want to know who they are, but if they didn't want me, then why would I go and spend any time looking for them? And I'm like,
Yeah.
there you go. You got to start innovating with life. Like, we're all going to die. We all have an expiration date. It could be now. It
Hmm.
could be 40 years from now. Hell, it could
Yeah.
be 1,000 years from now. I have no idea what
Yeah.
you stumble into if you meet some vampires and all that shit. But it's the idea that, like, the reason why people were so innovative back then, because they had a fear of death. I think a lot of people now feel like they're going to get so comfortable where they don't feel like they have to innovate anymore because they'll have the
Yeah.
time. And then one day that time's up and then you don't have the
Yeah.
chance to be able to pursue
Yeah.
anything. Back in the
Yeah.
day, they lived to be 40, 50 years old if they were
Hmm.
lucky.
If they
And
were lucky.
so they were like, I have to do as much as I possibly can, get as much as I possibly can get done now,
Hmm.
because I don't know how long I'm going to be around here and being able to
Yeah.
experience this world anymore with the intelligence or the creativity that I have.
Yep.
So what's the name of your podcast?
The next level up.
So what do you mean by the next level up? Are you talking about human genetics programming, or are you talking about
I
robots?
I no, I wish that would be pretty damn cool though. But I guess if you're in that field, yes. But I think there's I think no matter what, there's always a next level up. No matter what.
You always think there's a next step up in your life, whether it's
I
like
I think
down.
I just feel like there's always a better way. There's always they can always improve. Like look at I don't know if you're into basketball, but you look at the basketball like dunk contest of back in the 80s and maybe the early 90s, right? That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. Go scroll through IG and look at these 15-year-olds in high school. Like back then, we thought that was it. We thought Dominique Wilkins, doing a windmill was like that was it. That's like the peak point.
Dude, I
Then Vince
just
Carter came around
look.
and did a 360 under the leg, and it was like, what
I'll
happened?
tell you, I've heard people say when somebody first slam dunked and then it was like crazy that seeing that happen. Let me tell you something. I don't know shit about basketball. I just found out Michael Jordan wasn't the guy with AIDS. It was Magic Johnson. So I've been living 21 years thinking Michael Jordan has AIDS. And honestly, at this point, I'm not changing the way I've been thinking. I'm just gonna continue going with it.
Keep it, keep
Like
it, keep it.
somebody told me like, dude, that's Magic Johnson. I'm like, I've
Nope.
lived a lie for 21 years. It's Michael Jordan. I'm sorry. Space Jam. I'm sorry. He did stuff with Bugs Bunny and now he has AIDS. I'm sorry. But like
That's it.
watch Michael Jordan be like one of my listeners like, "Hey, you motherfucker. I don't have AIDS." I'm telling people that. You're that son of a bitch. I'm like, "Hey, sorry, bro." But like I think it's crazy because you look at like Leonardo da Vinci had one of the most like popular and one of my favorite quotes is art is never finished, it's just left undone, because he believed you can constantly be a work in progress and there's
There
always
it is.
something you can add to your life. And he
Yeah.
thought the Mona Lisa, like, it wasn't finished. Even we look at it now like it's this beautiful piece of art, what else could he add? But he never finished it and he never released it. People just found it in his house after he died. Like, the fact was he was constantly for years adding little bits and pieces to it to create it to what we see today, and he never stopped. He always was innovating. I believe you should do that into your own life. More people
And
incorporate
yeah,
are like, I already own 5 businesses. I'm fine. I'm
yeah,
like, you're comfortable in that, right? And they're like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm
Well, find
perfect.
something else. Find something else to grow in.
Not even
Find
that.
find
What
something.
else do you want
Yeah,
to do with your business? Do you just want to
yeah,
limit yourself to that and be comfortable? Or do you want to say
yeah,
like, I fucking mastered it. I did
yeah,
all my improvements and I kept working for it. It's the whole idea of Bill Gates. Like, that man has enough money to for the rest of his life. He does not need to be making any more money, trust me. But he
yeah,
keeps on doing it because he has a freaking a drive. He has a passion to keep
yeah.
doing more and innovating more. And he doesn't care about the money. He cares about the people. He cares about helping the world advance into a new state of technology. And I'm like, that's scary. I don't like technology that much. Also, it can help us connect, but at the same time, when Alexa starts controlling your toilet, you can shove that
Yes.
back to Amazon 2 day ship.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, it's like I've seen people that my podcast started from a dude, one of my buddies from school that I hadn't talked to in like basically 5 years after I graduated. And it's
Mhm.
almost 7 years later. And he's like, man, I'm on top of my roof. And he's like telling me like he's drunk and he feel like his life's just been controlled by his parents and stuff. And then I give him this information, even when I'm going through a depressive slump where I'm thinking I might get on top of my roof. And then next thing I know, bam, he tells me and calls me that, and I'm giving them some advice. And as I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking realizing this as I'm talking to you. Like, there are people going through the same shit as you, doing the same shit as you, thinking the
Mhm.
same shit as you, and you feel like you're all alone in a world where we're all together. We are
Yep.
all the same, but we're all so damn unique in our own ways. But the fact is, we like to live the same structured lifestyle of Jim that
Yep.
works the 9 to 5. Well, let me
Yep.
tell you, it doesn't fit for everyone. I will not
Doesn't.
sit in an office setting because I know I can't handle it. First thing I'll be
Mhm.
doing is stapling everybody's shit to the table so nobody can get their stuff and get their work done. I'm that guy. I'm the guy that will literally pull your chair out from under you as a classical joke, not to intentionally harm you, but just to make you laugh. And
Yeah.
so I wouldn't be set for that environment. So I have to go find my ability elsewhere and help my passion elsewhere where I work and
Yeah.
I thrive. And I think a lot of people choose to be a detriment in their own life only because it's comfortable and
Yeah.
it's
It
like they know
works
the
for
answer.
the moment, and they just stay in it.
That just pisses me off because I
Yeah.
know how amazing people can be when they
Yeah.
truly want to do what they want to do. I think a
Hmm.
lot of people just become bitter and pissed off, and that's how you see the old person that gets wheeled up to the window at 90 years old, like, fuck this place. I'm like,
Yeah.
because you didn't do anything. You
Yeah.
didn't do what you
You
want.
held back. You held back all your life.
And
For
we have
what?
so many options now, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh
people are
yeah.
so freer than they've ever been before. My
Hmm.
grandfather never had the chance to grow up because when he got sent off into the army back in the day, his dad died. So he had to go back home and limit all his goals and all the stuff he wanted to do with his life to take care of his family and raise his
Yeah.
younger siblings. He had to be the man of the household.
Yeah.
Have a chance. So every time he sees me like playing a game or something, he'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Are you playing games right now?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Get out and fucking do something." I'm like,
Yeah.
"I was outside working since 4 a.m. with you out in the yard. It's 9 o'clock at night. I can't work in the night." He's like, "What else could you be doing right now?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't homework." He's like, "All right, then do your homework." And then I leave and he's playing video games. And I'm like, I don't understand. You're a hypocrite." He goes, "No, I'm old." I'm like, "Okay."
It's like I already did my work. I already
I,
did my work. I already
and
did my dirt.
I'm already gonna die soon. I'm like, I could be dying soon too. He goes, "Nah, I don't see it. I don't see it."
That's great. That's
But he
great,
brings that
man.
sense of realism into it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that was years ago, and like hearing that now, like I tell people like, "What's your time zone?" Like when I'm podcasting, like they're like, "Oh, dude, I'm from Australia. I don't think our time zones are gonna match up. Sorry, we can't make this work out." I'm like, I will be up at 1 o'clock in the morning, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
your time, just to do this
Yeah.
podcast. And they're like, "What?"
Nice.
I'm like, I will sacrifice my sleep
Yeah.
because this drives me more than anything.
Yeah. It's great, man. It's great. I mean, it really you see you find a passion, and that's what it is. You keep mentioning the finding that passion for something, or even just for like kind of growth, dude. It's like that's what it's about, though. That's what it's about. Like you sacrifice because once you're done with this podcast, like once you're done with whoever you interview, man, it's something so fulfilling because you're about to not only did it do something for you and the person you're talking to, you're about to share that with the world.
Yeah, it's like doing a line of coke.
Yes, I don't know what that feels
I don't know, dude. I was hoping you'd be like, "Yes, it is. Thank you,
No,
thank you."
no. I tell you one thing, man. That people, I don't know if it's a normal thing, but one thing I've never done in my entire life. Well, not one thing, a bunch of things I haven't done my entire life. Not that I don't even have anything against it, but I've never smoked weed my entire life. I never even smoked a cigarette or nothing. Nothing. And
You just didn't have the options when you were a kid? Like, it wasn't, like, around
nah,
you or
it
something?
would no. Oh, I don't want to say anything that's gonna incriminate me, but the options were there. But I didn't have that urge. And
Same reason why I never
and
picked up a drink, you know? I
exactly,
saw
that
what it
you
did.
said
I
that.
saw the bad part of it. I was like, "Nah." Like, when
Yeah.
I smoked weed, it changes your perspective on life.
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
if people wanna try it, they should definitely try it.
I have nothing against it.
I don't advocate for it. I have nothing
Hmm.
against it only
Yeah.
because I did it. It wasn't for me, but
Hmm.
it did kind of screw me over a little bit because then I saw a world in a whole different light. Like, I was missing the Pink Floyd said it best, like, comfortably numb.
Yeah.
I know what that's like, being
Yeah.
alive and just walking around. Like, you're totally unaware of anything if you truly look
You're
at it.
just floating.
You're more worried about your phone and that Snapchat that's coming in rather than
Yeah.
worried about, like, this fucking table is mahogany, and you're like, it feels so smooth. And you're like, "Whoa," like, that's texture. That's a
Yeah.
feeling I get. Wow, colors look like you can actually see color. Like, I chalk it up to like, I have a fascination with mentally disabled people,
Hmm.
only because a lot of people don't understand them, and they always feel like the easiest job for them to do is some like grocery store job. And I
Hmm.
think that they have so many beautiful things about them, basically seeing the world in pure form, only because like you'll hear like if one of them randomly shouts out like blue, blue, and you're like, what? And you're like, what is he fucking talking about? Oh, he's like,
Yeah.
oh, he's just being, he's just being
There's an innocence to it.
but yeah, but like you're wondering why he's saying blue, and then I
Hmm.
I look and I'm like, oh my god, he's looking at the sky and how blue it
Hmm.
is right now. Look how fucking blue it is.
Yeah.
And I'm
We
like,
don't
that's
see
how,
it.
yeah, you're totally unaware of these little things that you're like, well, that's just stupid to pay attention to. No, it's not. You don't
Nah,
consider it important anymore, so you don't bother looking at it anymore. You think
yeah.
your phone is more important than the life around you. You think like, have you ever just taken a second, shut off all your phone, everything, and just walk outside and just listen and hear the
It's the
wind going
greatest.
through the trees?
There's something cool I do with my kid, man. Every once in a while, probably every other week or so. Um, I like to. I haven't done it lately, because it's raining a lot down here. But I like to. I like to go on my driveway and just lay there on the floor and look up with my kid, and we don't even talk. We just lay there and we look up, like, dude, like we reach up and it's like, look how far up that is. Like that's outer space. Like, we're just one little world, and it's crazy. I mean,
I
you
think
you
people are.
tune in a different way.
Yeah, I think you have to go back to your primal ways a little bit too. Like you kind of
Yeah.
have to kind of shut yourself off from all the stuff we've been exposed to that makes our life so damn comfortable and easy. Like
Hmm.
you don't know how like a lot of people are like, dude, I could easily kill a bear. Let me tell you something. A video of two bears fighting and I got humbled because I realized how quick I would be dead in a second. I like the closest thing people can relate to now to go experiencing nature is VR, like virtual reality,
Yeah.
Netflix.
YouTube.
Yeah, like
Netflix.
watching a freaking documentary on the earth and how wonderful it is. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I'm one of those people that like looking at how awesome the earth is. But then I'm like,
Hell yeah, me too.
I'm watching I listened to the sounds of the ocean trying to help myself go to sleep. Let me tell you, about 2.5 minutes in, they added a fucking seagull. And let me tell you, that seagull kept me pissed off and up, and it did not help me at all get to sleep because every
Damn that, damn that seagull.
dude, every like 3 seconds to like 30 seconds, it was like, ah, like just randomly. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm listening to it. I'm like, people use this to go to sleep, but then there's that fucking seagull. And the whole time I'm sitting there sleeping, I'm like, listen to the ocean, listen to the ocean. Look how calming it is. And then all I hear is, ah. I'm like, I'm gonna kill that fucking bird. And
There's one person that decided, you should put a seagull in there,
but I'm
and
like,
ruined it.
exactly, screwed it over for at least me. And I'm like, I'm like, but that's how people are going to connect now. Like you ask them, like, hey, when's the last time you went into nature? Like, I put up some whale sounds on my
Yeah.
phone and I did
Yeah.
it that way. I'm like, but dude, do you ever go camping anymore? I used to go camping
Yeah.
all the time. I don't do that anymore. And let me tell you, I fucking miss it. Because I look back, I'm
Yeah.
like, I remember all these moments I had with my family where I was like
Yeah.
watching a bonfire with my dad at 2 o'clock in the morning, eating a bushel of crabs and shrimp. I was
Yeah.
13 years old.
Yeah.
A 13-year-old nowadays doesn't know what that's like unless it
Nah.
includes the words Fortnite in it. That
What's
scares
funny,
me.
man? I said, me and my brother's a little bit older than me. And it's funny because, like, when we were kids, if it was raining hard outside, but like you don't get that lightning, we would go outside and play. So one day it was raining really hard. We had like the storm coming in, and it was just rain. Like it wasn't no lightning. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it was like heavy, heavy rain. So I took a video and I sent it to my brother, and I go, "Hey man, meet you outside in 15 minutes." And he lives about an hour from me. It was just, it was kind of, I was just sending it to him to kind of reminisce. And he was like, "Oh man, I'll go get the bikes." Because we used to ride our bikes in the rain. I mean, heavy rain. And it was funny because he FaceTimed me right after I sent that. And his son was there. His son is 15 or something. And he was like, "Hey, man, let's go outside and play in the rain." And the look he gave of like, why?
Like get wet? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to
Like,
be
why
sick.
would, and that was it. It was like, why would I go in the rain? And we both like looked at each other like, Because bitch, it's fun. It's
Yeah,
just fun. Like they just go out there and not care about anything. Like
dude,
they
I
just
remember riding my bike and being caught in a thunderstorm. Like that
yeah,
shit, like I was just riding my bike and it was just raining and I thought it was like the funnest thing. And then my
yeah.
my cousin, he's only like 15, just experienced it like a week ago and he was like, "Yeah, I had to call an Uber." I was like, what'd you just say? What?"
Just take it in, man.
Like, you
Just
just
take it
called an
in.
Uber to come pick you up? He's like, "Yeah, thank God he could fit my bike in the back of the car." I was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" I
That's all
remember
they
having
know.
to try and beat a thunderstorm home. You don't know
That's
that
it.
feeling when the rain is right behind you and you're like, "Oh
That's
shit,
it.
if I slow down, this thing's gonna hit me."
You get to the door, just drop the bike and run in.
Yeah. You don't care if the bike got rusted out. You don't care.
No,
You're just like, "Screw it.
no,
I
man.
beat that shit." And then you
I
come
beat
home
the
all
storm.
satisfied like Lance Armstrong or something that
Yeah,
just won. You're
you
just
can
like,
brag about it.
"Whoa,
Yeah,
I got one nut, not just one." But it's like you hear that, and it's like, but dude, I was hit to my knees when my cousin said that. I was like, "What? You
yeah.
called an Uber?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, it was like $20. Thank God he could put my bike in the back of his car." I was like, "What happened?"
That's crazy. But you know what, man? It's crazy because um see, this is how we're talking about it now, but when you think about it, that's gonna be that's gonna be the new world, man.
That's gonna be
That's
the
gonna be
norm,
the
dude.
yeah, yeah. That's gonna be the new shift. Um, so eventually that's gonna be normal.
Well, so many
That's
kids nowadays aren't even gonna know what it's like to not have an Amazon Alexa in their house.
yeah, yeah,
Something they
yeah,
can talk to. I see that as
yeah,
a benefit, like, if you're, like, someone that's, like, very alone and you're, like, your
yeah.
child is going through bullying, you could talk to Alexa. That's awesome. But,
Dude, I heard some creepy stuff with Alexa, man.
dude, they used her in a court case, so I don't trust it. My buddy has it, and every time I walk up to his house, he adds something new. So, like, now Alexa opens the door and, like, talks to you, like, when you're at the door, like, you ring the doorbell, "Hello, who is this?"
Oh
And I'm
no,
like,
no.
"Oh, hell. Hell no. Hell no, hell no." I'll sit in my car when I go to my buddy's house, and I'll be like, "Come outside." He's like, "Dude, just come up to the door. Come up to Alexa." I'm like, "No." He bought me a Google Home, one of those things. I never opened it
Yeah,
up. I just
I
freaking
don't want what I don't want none of those, man. I
I
don't
don't
like
want
none
any
of
of that,
those things.
man. I like to be, it is awesome if I could just be like,
It
"Alexa,
is.
lights off," and then next thing you know, the lights went off. But I know how much of a lazy piece of crap I'll start being if that
Yeah,
happens. So I still have to get
yeah.
up and
It's
flip the
not
switch.
necessary. It's not really necessary.
Well, you got to figure out what's needed to live, like what's a requirement, and then what
Yeah.
is just for fun.
It's a over the top convenience. That's what that is.
Where do you see society going in the next like 20 years? Do you have hopes for it? Or
Uh,
do you think it's going downhill?
no, I think robots are gonna take over, man.
You have that fear too?
I do, I really do. I think
Dude,
somehow robots take over.
there is a
Like it
center for existential risk. Do you know what that
yeah,
is?
no.
That is a government facility that monitors technology levels and advancements to make sure that the people that are producing this awesome, like cool ass technology is not
Mhm.
going to create something like Skynet.
Oh my.
There's a fucking guy looking at
See?
every single research thing that goes, all right, this thing's got artificial intelligence. Like you see the
So
thing
that means it's possible.
that it's gonna happen. I think one day. Like
Yeah.
we already have Sophia, that robot
Yeah.
that looks
Oh
like a
God, that's
human.
scary.
It just
Yeah.
got rights. So I don't
Yeah.
know what else we're doing with that. But
But it's like Elon Musk talked about it, man. He talked. There was another guy that talked about how, um, like so much will be replaced by robots within the next 5 years,
well, did you
and
see
it's
Whitney Cummings' new comedy special?
nah.
They used the same thing for it's a Joe Rogan podcast. You can look it up. It is
Oh
the
yeah.
most uncomfortable thing you could ever watch in your entire life because they have this thing that is the same robotics programs and material that was used for Sophia. The
Hmm.
skin of it is like basically human because they use a sex doll. It's called this company called Real Doll that creates
Hmm.
like artificial, like realistic sex dolls, and they use the
Hmm.
Sophia technology so it talks and they made it look like Whitney Cummings. And let me tell you
Oh,
something, I could not tell the two apart.
that's creepy.
It was so scary. I was listening to at the gym is where I listened to his podcast, and I'm like listening. I'm like, why does it sound like there's a machine in the background? And I look, and this machine is lifelike in front of the person. Like, how are you doing? Yes, my name is, and it's
Oh,
answering,
that's
but it's
creepy.
talking like there's no emotion. And the only
Yeah,
difference you can tell between her and then like Whitney Cummings is the fact that they didn't have the robotics right to where the cheek moves like a natural person. They can't really
yeah.
narrow down emotion, but it looks exactly like her if they're not talking.
Oh my God,
And
that's
her comedy
creepy.
specials on Netflix, I recommend looking it up because
I'm probably gonna watch it tonight.
it'll make you throw your TV and all your electronics out the fucking window. Because like I saw that, I was like, Immediately, I already pictured calling up Arnold Schwarzenegger and be like, "Look, man, they're coming. They're coming.
Yeah,
Get
I know you know about this, Arnold.
You
I
need
know
to
you know
start
about this.
bench
What do we
pressing.
do?
We need to get back. We need to get at it. We need to get you back in Terminator shape, and we need to get this done because it's happening." And my
Oh
buddy's
man.
a big advocate on it. Like he calls himself a scientist. He's like, I can't wait till when they get us the gene chip to where we can program the.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
dude, don't you see how bad people are going to take that? He's like, what? People wouldn't take a chip that gives you limitless information, unlimited information in the back of your head. I'm like, okay, you're thinking in the best parts of humankind where we're going to use it for research. And I see the beautiful
Yeah,
parts of that.
yeah, but
But I
there's
know what
dirt bags everywhere.
I know what I do in class, like when I went to school, and let me tell you, I'll be looking up with that chip in the back of my head so much porn that it's gonna be ridiculous. Like I know people. That's the fact. I know what people
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the weird side of them that they don't want to show. I work at a
yeah,
hotel, so
yeah,
I know when someone leaves the do not disturb on the door and then you finally get to cleaning their room, they leave all their shit out for you to see, the side they don't want you to see, the messy
yeah,
side, all that type of
yeah,
shit. So I know everyone has that messy side. We all have that thing like, oh, I
yeah,
can't tell people that, or they're going to
yeah,
think of me this way.
yeah,
Well, I think once you start thinking that, you start to look at those things that you do and realize like, maybe that's something I need to change.
yeah.
You know, you're gonna do the creepy stuff you do with your door locked, but at the same time, you have to realize like, there's a time and place for it, and you have to
Yeah.
rationalize that everybody does it as well. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
give it here a freedom speech for masturbation, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
you know, you have to understand people are people. There's a freak side to all of them. You can't say Jim
Yeah.
works a 9 to 5. He doesn't do anything. Let me tell you something.
Right.
Jim kills all the neighborhood pets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to chalk that up. I'm sorry, that just
Yeah.
has to happen. If you start creating these false images for people, you live yourself by a false society, and I'm not for that at
Mhm.
all. I think what the best part that makes us unique is our flaws, and we have to learn
Yes.
to conceptualize on them and realize that we don't have to change them if they're not affecting anybody, but we
Yeah.
have
You
to
just
look
gotta
at them.
accept them.
You have to highlight that they're there. You can't just gloss them
Yeah.
over the carpet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a saying about that too, man. It goes, it's what is it? It's uh, the things that we hide, the things that we keep to ourselves that we feel is gonna push people away, are actually things that people can relate to and brings them closer.
It's
You
it's
know,
it's,
so
it's
like we
yeah.
like the whole depression thing. Like the second like me, you, anybody, the second I started talking about me like being depressed and stuff, people were like, "Yeah, bro, me too. I feel the same way. I was going through the same thing with my family." And it's crazy because I never wanted to share that. And then the second I would talk about it, it was like, "Dang, me too, man." And it's crazy because we hide those things, but we don't realize like almost everybody is going through that stuff.
It's crazy because you look at it and you're like, how are you like able to like understand depression? You don't know what true depression is. I'm like, look, we all are experiencing something, and the fact that
Hmm.
people are afraid to share nowadays or know
Hmm.
anything or even get bothered to learn anything
Well,
about.
people are afraid to share the bad. That's the thing. They
But they don't,
because
because they think that
they
they're the only one going through that. And I'm like, if you
yeah,
just open up, you're gonna find that everyone's going through that. Everyone's
yeah,
thinking that. Everyone has
yeah,
those feelings. And then it's not just making yourself seem like the everyday person. It's letting you know like there are people out there that are going through some shit just like you in a different way. And it helps you relate to people. It's all about being
yeah,
relatable. The fact that
yeah,
they use comedy in relatable experiences. Like, have you ever been to the, you're driving and some dude just pisses you off in front and you just want to get over and beat his head with a crowbar? And everyone's like, ha, 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 ha. Like, because you've had those moments before.
Because for real, yeah, that's how you feel. Like,
yeah, if you start displaying like, well, the airplane food, like, you do Jerry Seinfeld comedy, like back in the day where it was clean. It was like, it was funny, but it was like a little bit fake. Like he was playing an act, he cusses in his everyday life. And I think in a show, like, that I hate that guy to death only because I can't stand his voice. But like, Jay Leno cusses in his everyday life. It's about being real. Like Jay Leno didn't want to do the Tonight Show anymore because he hated that he felt like he was playing this character on stage. I'm like, it works at times, but if the fact is, when do you kind of separate the character from the true you? And a lot of people can't do that anymore. It just scares me because I know that people are going to become so fit to stay in that forever that they're going to truly lose who they were. Like, you see it with broadcasters. They do, welcome to 93.5 The Beach. You're listening to KRNA. It's like, but then you hear them talk outside. And they're like, well, I would like a double cheeseburger. And you're like, what the fuck happened to you? They don't know how to break out of it anymore because everyone knows them as that. It scares me, man.
That's what they've been showing everybody. Yeah,
I think the fact is, it's going to take something drastic to kind of change the world that we're going in now, or at least
it'll happen though. It'll happen.
I hope it's not a civil war though. I hope it's something like, they find out Bigfoot's real, then everybody's like, oh shit, like
that'll bring everybody together. We're like, all right, we need change.
We need to vote Bigfoot as president. We already have a cryptid as our president now. We need
oh man.
I find it funny because like you look at like the ridiculous mysteries of the world and I'm like, they're mysteries for a reason because it gives people the chance to wonder and it gives people the chance to kind of hope for something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if it's something as ridiculous as Bigfoot, like the fact that there's still a group of people that go out on hunts every weekend, spend like a $50,000 budget just to be able
real
to
research.
And people are like, well, don't you think that's ridiculous? I'm like, no, because all the evidence they have that support it's real is kind of like hogwash. But then you look at how there's 2.2 million land animals that are still yet left undiscovered on Earth, and there's 6.8 million left in the water to discover. There's thousands of species that get discovered basically every year. I'm like, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. And I think that's the point. And I feel like people think that if they take that away, they're going to get something out of it. I'm like, then what? You're just going to focus on something else to take away from somebody. Let them have that innocence. Let them have that. It's like being a child before you had to pay bills and worry about up your car.
And if you're passionate about looking for Bigfoot, then so do it. Be passionate about it. And if you're getting paid for it, then good. Now you got a job and you're passionate about your job.
You literally have a job to go out into nature and look for something that's probably not there.
Yeah.
That's better than a 9 to 5.
Yes. Yeah. And if you don't find it that day, it's like, well, let's do it again tomorrow.
Wake up tomorrow and scout for another dinosaur. I think, you talked about the technology that's going to kind of change and take up jobs like Elon Musk was saying. I see benefit only, and I'll probably finally get a McFlurry from McDonald's because every time I go there, their
finally,
is broken. It's like, sorry, I don't feel like doing that. I'm like, why? Just take it off the menu. Stop giving me the damn option.
Yeah. Stop teasing me, man. Damn it.
But a lot of people use auto service machines like when they go to checkout and stuff because they feel like they can do it better themselves. I'm like, okay, well, I mostly go to that self-checkout, but I also like to be able to talk to people too. Like sometimes if I'm having a rough day, I'll go up and I'll buy like an item and they'll be like, it's $1.99 and they're going to go give me a penny. I'm like, can I use that penny for your thoughts? They're like, what? And they're completely caught off guard. And I'm like, you can see the autopilot click off. Like, what? I was not expecting that question. I'm like, penny for your thoughts. And they're like, I don't know what to say. I'm like, well, say something. What's on your mind? What do you think about right now? They're like, I don't know. You just asked me a question. I'm like, that was a waste of a penny. And then I'll walk away. Because then they open up their mind. Like, I'll come back in. They'll be like,
You
it's
throw them
one,
off. You throw them off routine.
they'll be like, that was a weird question. I was like, was it weird, or was it the fact that we're not even paying attention anymore?
Yep. That person will think about that later, though.
Oh yeah, they'll chuckle
Yeah.
later, and they'll also
Yeah.
probably think I'm a douchebag for insulting them.
Yeah.
But
And they'll probably use the same joke eventually.
probably, it's a good joke.
It is. It's good. It's good.
I don't know how I
'Cause
thought of it. I think it was like one time I
that's-
just randomly said it, and then my cousin's like, "That's really funny," and I'm like, "Oh shit,
like, yeah.
should I
Keeping it.
trademark it now?"
You know what's something weird? I was meant to say this earlier. Is we were talking about the Alexa thing. I got a buddy of mine that has he has an Alexa, and this is probably another reason I won't get it. Not to go back to that, but I had to. Is that his Alexa talks to some person named Gary like at 3 o'clock in the morning almost every other night. And I'm like, yo, either your wife is cheating on you or there's a ghost running around your house named Gary.
Dude, I can't do that, man. I can't. Once, dude, I don't know how far, like, even having my phone in the same room as me, like when I'm talking to someone privately, I get a little bit freaked out. I'm
Yeah.
like, Google's just searching up advertisements for everything I'm
It
talking about
sucks
right
though,
now.
man, because like you don't want to be a paranoid, but just like it's almost like you have to be.
Dude, you gotta know that somebody's watching out there. Someone's looking
Yeah,
up that shit.
yeah. Somebody's listening right now. What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up, Google? Thanks for sending me that advertisement 5 minutes from
Yeah,
now about something
yeah,
else about Bigfoot. Next thing I know, I'm gonna be getting advertisements on my phone. Next
yeah.
Bigfoot hunt. I'm like, oh god.
Great. Now I'm gonna have all kind of Alexa advertisement on my phone.
Do you so with where do you see, like, are you trying to venture off into this podcast a little bit farther? Like, do you want this to kind of be your new professional thing, or do you just want to
I
kind of
would love that. I would love. You know what? I would love that to be my thing. And I would love to do speaking, man. I would like to like speak. Like on a bigger level. Even if it's like honestly, even if it's like at a school or to kids or whatever it is, if I can just get into some people's heads about especially the like youth, man, about just being mind strong, and because especially now, man, like we were talking about instant gratification. If you don't like everything's at hand, if you don't have it right away, especially in today's like generation, well, I don't want to single people out like that, but like like it just the world that we live in, everything happens now. So when kids like don't see it happening, they want to quit right away. Like the fitness journey is, I mean, you got to work. You can't, there's no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it. And people quit. That's why it's so hard for people to do diets. And even when they do diets, they get to where they want and then they go right back because it's a lifestyle change. It's not just a diet, it's a
well,
lifestyle change.
same reason why people only go to the gym for 2 weeks. I've witnessed people go to the gym for only 2 weeks and then start to give
Yeah.
up. And I always tell them, like, look, I didn't get this way by going for
Yeah.
2 weeks and that's it. I've been going every day for 7 years. It's a commitment.
Yeah.
You got to
It's a
understand that,
commitment.
like, now it's a part of my routine. Like, it's like checking myself in the morning. I
Yeah.
have to go to the gym. I don't miss the gym. And they're
Yeah.
like, well, that's just something with your mental health. I'm like, yes, it is. But at the same
Yeah.
time, you don't have to follow my road. You don't have to follow
Yeah.
my path. But if you want change for your body, don't
Yeah.
expect it coming
No, but
with a little bit of effort in 2 weeks. You
yeah.
have to, that first 2 weeks is the hardest. And I tell people, like, look,
Yeah.
you see this, you're here bettering yourself. So if you
Yeah.
want to do that, don't worry about what everybody else is thinking about you. Don't
Yeah.
don't don't even consider them a thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't
But you
matter.
got to put in effort. You got to put in that effort. You
And
put in 60%, you're gonna get 60% back. So
I helped one of my friends lose 60 pounds. I mean,
yeah.
just
See?
it was all to him. I tell him it's all his credit. He did all the work for it. And
Yeah.
all I did was just tell him, like, this is how you can work out to do this. That works for me.
That's it.
It's going to be different for you. So I pointed him to some good articles and I told him what he
Hmm.
needed to change in his diet. I mean, he's Italian, so I figured cut out the pasta, bro. He did
Yes.
that. He lost 60 pounds. He stopped eating
Yeah.
bread and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
he feels way better and way happier with himself. He's taking
Yeah.
selfies a lot and putting them on Instagram, which I always give him shit for. But I tell them, like, I'm glad that you truly are comfortable in your own skin now. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
that's not saying you have to lose weight to be comfortable in your own skin, but if you want the change, you can do it. It is
right.
achievable, but if you keep neglecting the things that you can do, you're only limit yourself to what you will become.
Yep, yep. Perfectly said, man.
And dude, it was awesome having you on my podcast. I'm glad we
Oh
could
man, this
even
was
have
great.
this chat, dude. We need to do
Yeah,
a
definitely.
podcast about Bigfoot. I feel like we could hit home.
Yes, yes. Bigfoot and Alexa.
Bigfoot and
If they
Alexa.
have any, if they have anything tied to each other,
I think they're working together.
maybe. I don't
No,
doubt
because
it.
Bigfoot's not corrupt. Alexa's corrupt.
Is he or is he not corrupt?
I don't
Why
know.
haven't we found him?
I think of Bigfoot as like the keeper of the forest. Like
Ah,
if you throw a match, Smokey, you think of Smokey the Bear, but like Bigfoot's
it's
like,
actually
nah,
Bigfoot.
nah, that's a
Yeah,
fake motherfucker. No,
yeah. I'm with you on that one.
I'm
I'm
the
with you
real
on that.
protector. Like you just
I'm the
littered.
real OG of the force.
It's like, yeah, you just littered. It's either beef jerky or get out of my woods. Like, get out.
It's him and Swamp Thing all day.
True, true. All right, man, dude. It was awesome having you on. And
Thank you,
I
thank
want
you.
to give you a minute here at the end just to be able to tell people where they can find your stuff so we can look up your great content.
Cool, man. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, The Next Level Up. When you spell level, it's Levell, has my name in it. So The Next Level Up all together. Also, that's the name of my podcast on Apple, Spotify, any uh, platform. Just kind of search it under that name. I'm on Twitter, the same name. All my platforms are the same name. So, and if you want to email me, you can email me at the number 2 TNLU at gmail.com. And feel free to message me, man. I'm open to anything. I'm open to talking to people. I love it. I love connecting with people.
What is
Just
the
like my guy.
taco about it Tuesday?
Oh, that was, I I'm still early in this podcast, so I'm almost like I'm looking for my little niche, and it is a mindset thing. But when I have guests, I like to just talk, like how we're talking now, and I like to go through these series of questions that are like half serious and half ridiculous. And so my buddy came on, and we were actually uh, we were having tacos. And so I told him next week I'm going to release it on Taco Tuesday. And so it just kind of became a thing where it's, Taco Tuesday. And so now I'm going with every interview I'm going to release on, like when I interview somebody, it's going to be released on a Tuesday for Taco Tuesday.
Well, if you're looking for somebody to have a conversation with about either
Yes.
tacos, Bigfoot, or anything else, I am down, man. Hit me
All
up.
right, let's do it.
I'd
Let's
love
do
to
it.
do it. I'm not good at interviews. I don't think I've ever done an interview only
Yeah.
because I hate the concept of it. People are like,
Yeah.
it's like a 30-minute thing. I'm like, no, it's a conversation, bro. Like, you don't understand. We can
Yeah.
be talking about aliens 1 minute. Like, I try and skip a minute into my
Yeah.
podcast, and next thing I know, we're talking about something completely different than what I thought
Yeah.
was going to be a minute later.
Well,
Like,
that's all it is, really. It turns into a conversation. I just the most part of like the interview is the end where I do the random questions because I think it's funny as hell.
you hit them with tacos in the beginning and then feed them some line of questions at
Yeah,
the end.
yeah.
They're all
Like I think,
bloated, got the diarrhea parts. They're like, "Oh, you
yeah,
son of a bitch!"
yeah, man. But yeah, feel free. Anybody contact me, hit me up, and I always respond. I'm cool with it.
Well, everybody check out his great content. And Lovell, it was awesome having you on, man.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it, man. This was awesome.